Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bin Podcast. It is me, your illustrious host, Wayne Maker. I am joined with a full squad today, sort of. Below me, I have Brenna Duncan, and to my bottom right, I have Mikey Femin.
Hello.
How is everyone?
Oh, another day in the land of milk and honey.
Yeah. So we're not going to pull any punches today. As the non-American here, I'm going to express my condolences to my American friends for yet again another tragic loss of life at the hands of some absolute muppet with a gun. Um, it's not been a great few months for my American friends, and as an outside observer, I I can't even fathom like how you guys are feeling. So, um, if I throw it to Brenna first and foremost, what's going on? How are you getting on?
Well, it's been a rough kind of few days. I mean, just last week, we were showing how emotional we are for the mass shootings that happened just over, a few weekends ago. We had Buffalo, Milwaukee, Texas, Houston, Texas, and then here in Southern California. That was barely 2 weeks ago.
I'm messaging Tim. Hold on a second.
Okay, all right. I'll continue explaining, and it was rough. It just the weekend shootings a few weeks ago. There was some emotion in there. There was the shooting here in Southern California was in Orange County, where I live, not too far from where I was born, where my brother used to live, where my friends live. I mean, that's personal.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey showed great emotion with the Buffalo shooting because it just happened to be a black neighborhood shot by a known white supremacist in a neighborhood in which that was the only place to get food in that area.
And they
that all yeah oh yeah oh no that I was thinking about the day as well, that whole nobody's doing anything kind of bystander effect shit that would happen. That was that's something that we shouldn't be doing very often. It should be a tragedy, and we can't. We're not allowed to these days to simply just go, that was a tragedy, we should mourn the loss, we should help the community, we should work on getting people's lives better, right? But we can't. We can't because of what happened Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon, a 18-year-old in the state of Texas legally purchased firearms, including an AR-15, an assault weapon, a military style weapon, legally purchased it at 18 without a permit, without training, without a background check. Not illegally, did not get it off the street, did not get it from the Mexicans. No. Legally. Why? Why did they get it legally?
Tejas.
Because in Texas, they removed all restrictions for gun use and ownership. They lowered the age to 18. They reduced or loosened the requirements for permitting, for background checks, for open carry, which means this person, a person who is considered an adult by law, he turned 18, the next day he bought an AR-15. Nobody questioned it. Nobody said we should probably check to see if this person should have this. There was no requirement for understanding safety. This was not somebody who was using this for hunting. This was not a protection gun. This is an AR-15. What is the purpose of an AR-15? To slaughter. This 18-year-old took this gun, shot his grandmother, went to the school, pushed himself past a security guard there, barricaded himself inside a classroom of second, third, and fourth graders, and 2 teachers, and mowed them down. The children, the 8, 9, 10-year-olds, were beyond visual identification. They had to use DNA in order to identify these children. DNA. I'm not talking about these First Amendment rights. I think we're beyond trying to convince people about like what it,
Second Amendment. Second Amendment
yeah,
rights.
the Second Amendment. I'm beyond this. This is a culture right now.
It really is. It really is.
Culture. This is the ammosexuals. These are the people who take their AR-15s and pose with their little kids for Christmas pictures.
Isn't that cute?
Little 5-year-old kids standing there being forced to hold a gun they probably can't even lift because mommy and daddy love their guns.
I would just like to interject and say that I blame us for that, because the entire reason that you have a Second Amendment is because the Second Amendment was designed to prevent a UK invasion of America. When you had muskets and musket balls and all that kind of caper, and that culture has proliferated into this kind of militaristic epidemic in America.
And Wayne, that is the excuse that is being used.
Yep.
The excuse is, I have the Second Amendment right. I have a constitutional right.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a constitutional right to have a gun, to bear arms.
Yeah, in a well-regulated militia.
But that's that's where it should end, right? It's well regulated. Militia, a right to have a firearm for various reasons.
What
Um,
what 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 militia did this shit cunt belong to?
who knows? Because you know what? Didn't have any. He didn't have to register. Didn't have to have
That's
any training whatsoever.
as an outside observer. This again, I'm
Hmm.
trying my best
Thanks for
not to be um patronizing or smug or anything like that. I'm looking at this objectively because I have no emotional involvement in this event. I'm looking at the Second Amendment and seeing where this actually justifies him being able to own guns. The geezer can't even buy a beer. He
Yep,
cannot buy a beer, but he
he
can
couldn't.
buy
Could
a
can't
weapon of
run a
war.
car.
He can
Can't
he
run a
can
car.
buy a weapon of war. And this is again, this is not me trying to be smug or condescending in any way, shape, or form from being outside of the US. It just seems ridiculous to me that this geezer can't buy a beer, but he can buy an AR-15 from Walmart. It's shocking. It's
But
shocking.
this
go
is
zero.
why this is why I I kind of I want to stay away from like the Second Amendment thing because it's beyond that. It's not just, hey, we have a constitutional right.
Yeah.
It is it is the gun manufacturers that have turned a tool, right? You know, most families don't have more than one car per person, correct? Because
My bad.
it lasts a long time. It's large, it's complex. It's also dangerous if you use it incorrectly. We have registration, we have permitting, we
Hmm.
have safety regulations. If you drive drunk, you can't use a car.
Yeah.
Like that right is taken away from you because that is dangerous. But because we have the manufacturers and especially places organizations like the NRA have made the gun, especially these assault rifles, it's not a rare thing to have. It's not a car. It becomes disposable. Oh, you need this one. Oh, this one's in matte black, this one's in shiny black, this one's in metal, gun metal. This one's in pink. You should have the pink one for your
Mm.
your, your wife. There's ones with camo on them. Like it becomes like shoes.
But
Every gun for an occasion, every shoe for an occasion. It
Brenner, the whole gun lobby has made owning guns in America. Again, this is me
Mhm.
externally looking in. Um, it's made owning a gun like an American thing. You have
it
to own a gun.
if you don't have a gun, you're not a man.
Yeah, yeah. That whole psyche has been indoctrinated into. Um,
You are not safe without a stockpile of AR-15s.
yeah,
You are less than a person. How are you to be trusted? Protecting your children if you can't mow down,
yeah,
shred another human being. Like
yeah.
this is the psyche. Again, I'm
It's
not saying about actual just responsibility. I have bleeding heart liberal friends who have guns, but they're not using it as a form of I am a
Masturbation.
man. I am a man because I own these guns. No, they're collectors. They're responsible collectors. Or maybe you're a hunter and so you have a collection of rifles that are meant for hunting. But assault weapons,
no one, no. Again,
stockpiling
this is
assault
not
weapons.
again not a criticism. No
Mhm.
one in the UK has an AR-15. They have shotguns for like going out grouse shooting or um, killing vermin on their land, but a shotgun over here has to be in a shotgun safe, locked away, um, and you have to have a license for it. You have to have background checks. You have to be vetted. There are so many stipulations for you to own a gun here, and even that gun is a working gun. It's not just
Right.
for
Not a
sport.
display, right?
If you're a clay pigeon shooter, you need to register yourself as a clay pigeon shooter. But if you're like doing it like if you're on a farm and you're trying to get rid of vermin or you're looking for grouse or whatever it is, there are so many regulations. When we had Dunblane, which was an absolute horror story over here, where a man with a handgun went into the Dunblane school where Andy Murray was being educated. Andy Murray, world number one tennis player. This guy went in there and shot up the place, killed loads of kids. We banned handguns. We just went, no, done. We ain't doing that anymore. We are regulating the crap out of it. Australia did the exact same thing. America, what is the problem? What is the sickness that is with America?
So we actually had a time in the 1990s in which we banned rifles, assault weapons, and we did a buyback program,
Mhm.
and it reduced the amount of mass shootings that happened because there is a correlation between the access to firearms and the use of those firearms.
Mhm.
It's statistically proven. There is, Mikey, if you want to kind of show a little bit about the Giffords.
Yeah, give
While
me 2 seconds. I'm
while
getting
No
my.
while
problem.
I'm.
while
So,
Mike
well,
is doing that, while
Can
actually,
Mike
everyone
is doing
start
that,
talking
let
at
me do
once,
some
Wayne?
background on this, please. There's a lot to go over for this. So, if you don't know, Gabby Giffords was a congressional representative from Arizona who, for her first, she's a Democrat, for her first sort of public meeting, a town hall kind of thing. It was outdoors in Arizona, and a gunman tried to assassinate her. They killed a bunch of people at the event, and they shot her in the head. Um, she survived it, and she continued to be active in politics to the point where her husband is one of the current senators in Arizona, who is there's Mark Kelly, who's a former astronaut, and you have Kristen Cinema, who is a CUNT. Um,
see you next Tuesday.
exactly. Um, so so one of the things that we can't really do very much um, in the United States is, of course, research gun violence because we have gun lobbies. And gun lobbies pay our elected officials to not do research on it. So this is the best research that I've seen on the gun violence, and gun violence does include both the not just the homicide use of guns, but also the other uses of guns, such as suicide and accidental. So a little tiny bit of statistics that I can talk about is that um, suicides are the number one use of a gun, and then it's homicide.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones, unintentional or police shootings, are a minuscule amount of the gun deaths. We're talking about deaths, not shootings or injuries. We are talking about people who have died at the hands of a gun. So
Let it out, Brenna. Let it out.
we we hear these. We hear of these shootings of any kind, whether or not it is a mass shooting or a single person shooting. There's a list of shootings, that mass shootings, that are daily, every day. We see it. We showed you last time. And if you haven't looked at that recently, since the last time that we talked to you about this, that we told you to go there, I think the last time,
There's
what was it?
16. There's 16 additional.
Fucking hell.
Mass shootings. That means 4 or more people have been injured or killed.
Yeah, 4. 4 is the benchmark, I believe.
Since last time. That's 2 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Of mass shootings. That has nothing to do with just somebody shooting another person or somebody shooting themselves. That is mass shootings, 4 or more people. This was one of the deadliest school shootings. I talked about this last time. I remember watching the news for Columbine. I was old enough to remember it. I still remember it.
Yep.
I messaged my boys a few days ago. I messaged these guys. I said, I don't even know where one shooting ends and one shooting begins. Somebody said, I heard Parkland. I'm like, which one was that? Was that Florida? Was that was that the kids in Connecticut? I don't know, because it's all a blur. If we actually want to break this shit down and figure this out, the first thing is, yes, I'm not going to blame mass shootings on mental illness. I'm not blaming mass shootings on not having enough guns in hands of people that they think
It's
should
cultural.
have it.
It's cultural.
Texas has some of the loosest gun laws in the country, as we have seen. You don't need permits, you don't need background checks, you don't need any of this. They now have had, probably since a couple weeks ago, probably 5 or so mass shootings, because it's easy. It's easy to get guns. Not safety, not responsibility, not small handguns. We're talking about mass murdering guns, where military, what we use in the military. This is personal to me. This is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders. My mother was an elementary school teacher for 25 years, and most of that time she was teaching 3rd grade. This is personal. I have family in Texas who teach little kids. They're not safe there. Their kids are not safe there. I have family in Oklahoma with an 8-year-old. She's not safe there. I have friends who are teachers here, and I fear for them. Because lawmakers, these goddamn lawmakers, think guns are more important than lives. That the money that those gun manufacturers give them is more important than kids' lives. It is easier to get killed by a gun than it is to walk to school. These children were innocent. They don't give a shit about what you vote for. They don't care about your constitutional rights. They don't care about donators. They don't care about the NRA doing their national gun meeting in San Antonio, Houston this weekend. It was the same thing that happened after Columbine. Columbine in Colorado, that a week and a half later, the NRA did their stupid little convention with their goddamn rallies, promoting false narratives about how to prevent it, to prevent the murder, to prevent mass murder of people, of children. And they're going to keep doing this, and they're going to be using the American people to line their fucking pockets. They don't care about your kids in school. They don't care about grandma and grandpa going to Walmart or to a grocery store. They don't care if they come back. They care about one thing. They care about their bank accounts. They care about their yachts. They care about you giving them money. You are being used. Every single time a mass murder, a public murder like this happens, sales go up. It is advertising. Because they send out that little thing said they're gonna take away your guns.
Yeah.
Never happened, by the way.
It's kind of a to coin a phrase, a secular firing squad, in the sense of these kind of things happen, the right get triggered, in a sense of they're saying people are going to come take your guns, so gun sales go up.
Yeah.
And you now have people with literal arsenals of guns.
Yeah.
And
because they were told.
Because
they were told.
Yeah.
That they're going to take your guns away. So not only do you have to buy up a bunch of guns, but they're going to storm in and they're going to start shooting your family to get your guns. None of that's true. There has been no evidence of that.
Yeah.
Ever.
But even during the pandemic, there was a
sales went up.
A bullet shortage because people were buying up all of the bullets.
Yeah.
They already had the guns, but
Yeah.
they needed more bullets.
So this
is unique specifically to America. Again,
and it doesn't matter.
I'm not critiquing as a smug geezer from the UK. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just looking at it externally and going, this is silly. This is just silly.
This is going to keep happening.
And I've been mostly quiet about this, but I want us to do a couple of things and not do a couple of things.
Absolutely.
We have to stop conflating school shootings and gun ownership. They're not the same thing. Because the problem is
I didn't say ownership, I said access.
The problem is, I've been very quiet. The problem is, there is no penalty for poor ownership. There is no penalty for lack of custody or neglect. I think for the first time, the parents of that last school shooter, they left the gun out, and that's what he used to kill people, and then they got prison time for it. It needs to be 1,000,000 times that, right? And Texas, with their lack of regulation, creates things like this. So if you have a mixture of people not being qualified to have guns in the first place, and then there's no penalty for not taking care of your guns if you get them in the first place, then it doesn't matter. Then none of the laws even matter. None of them even matter.
This is also and the next point that I was going to make is that it doesn't matter whether it is a Democratic run, harsher gun restrictions. It is absolutely 100% access to guns.
Mhm.
It is how easy it is to get it.
Yeah.
How those lacks, you are right, 100% right, Mikey. Those lax gun safety measures, the ease of getting an 18-year-old walking into a shop, and because he's 18 and he can throw down the money, he can walk out with an AR-15.
Yeah.
It can't be
No
that
background
easy.
check.
It can't be
This
that easy.
Can't
this
do a background. Can't have a permit. Can't have safety. In order
this
to drive a car, I have to have a license. And somebody has to tell me you are driving safely now because you went through classes, you went through tests, you can
that
see things.
that all day long.
We have safety measures to put in place to be able to drink water.
Soppy Bollocks couldn't buy a beer, but he could buy an AR-15. Well done, everyone.
Don't hit us with the well done everyone's because it comes off glib AF.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that today.
No.
I understand.
Again,
You're not trying to, but it's glib AF. I understand that that's just.
I know.
I understand that that's just
I-
your manner of
I-
speaking.
No.
Yep.
Let me
Stop
hold my hand
talking.
up. Let me hold my hand up and apologise for that because it's kind of a knee jerk reaction, and yeah, I'm sorry for that. It's just
So-
it's just an observation, and yeah, I'm sorry.
So I looked up when Raphael.
No names.
You don't know what I'm talking about, Wayne. I'm a trained fucking professional. Wind your neck in. Raphael Cruz, aka Ted Cruz.
Okay.
Calm down.
AKA the Zodiac Killer.
Fucking.
By the way, this is Tim Bristol, who is here from our sister show, Speaking from the Centre. Hello, who's in Ireland?
So I looked up when Raphael graduated from high school, and from what I gather, it was 1988. There were
was
four.
7.
There were 4 mass shootings in, or 3 in '88, and none of them. One was, it looks like, outside of a cafeteria, so in the parking lot of a school. It looks like another pistol was found, and one person was shot. Like they don't have, like he didn't grow up in a time where this is prevalent. And if I look back even further, there's even fewer. It's so much so that they don't even go year by year. They just go by decade.
Yeah.
Like that 80s is a decade of things where there's only like 7 or 8 things to list. In 2020, here, let me go back up to it. Pull it up here.
Information. It's all about statistics.
They love stats.
Numbers.
They love some stats. I got some for
Nerds.
All
about the nerds.
Where did it go? So yeah.
So
if you
you're
guys,
awake.
So if you look here, this is from 2022. There's 9 pages.
Yep.
There's 9 pages of it now. So from 88 to having 3 the whole year to I have 9 pages of mass shootings in 2022. How do you square that circle, Raphael? You blame it on the door.
Fucking doors.
It was the door.
Too many of them.
There's too many doors. You have
There's
to
not
lower the
enough.
amount of doors you have, so that lowers the amount of chances for someone to get in. It was an unattended door. And then they were also talking about arming the fucking teachers. Okay,
Oh God, no.
I don't know how well behaved you guys were. But as a teenager, I was a ripe shit. All I need is the algebra
As a
teacher to have-
teenager.
I mean,
Go on, Wayne.
all of us.
Go on, Wayne.
No, that's fine. Carry on.
Can I tell you something about teachers, especially with this mass shooting kind of thing? Shootings at schools are most likely going to be, what is it, 25 or under, right?
Mm-hmm.
have some connection with that school. Now, so they're young and they're nearby. I don't know. This was a couple of the teachers that have been interviewed for these kind of things have said, I'm not shooting a former student. I'm not shooting a student. I'm not shooting a child. I'm not shooting a human being. Teachers are not there to shoot people. Teachers are there to teach and protect. Mikey, do you want to talk about what we just learned today about the police officers?
Uh, uh, just one thing.
Yes.
Hello.
As someone who's had a little bit of training when it comes to firearms, and I think that from what I've gathered and from what other people who has similar training to me has said, uh, having civilian clothing on with a hidden firearm getting up off a chair would be extremely dangerous. At the same time, when first responders arrive and you have 20 people all holding firearms, who do you know? How do you know who's the bad guy? So it's just a horrible idea. When you look at police uniforms, when you look at military uniforms, when you see where their guns are placed on their body, it's placed like that. The uniform is designed like that for a reason, for easy access to the things that you need. That's why you have one place for your med pack, you have another place for, everything is made out so you can find it easily without thinking. It's all muscle memory, and that's how it's used. When you're sitting there with your long hoodie on, your guns on your back, and you're sitting on your eyes, you have to stand up, get all your clothing that's not supposed to be there when you're doing a quick draw out of the way. Then you have to aim and shoot in a safe way, which it just happens only in John Wick movies. Like, it just doesn't happen in real life. That's not how it happens. So having people in the classroom or teachers, I think that every trained professional would tell you it's a horrible, horrible, horrible idea and just an accident waiting to happen. That's all I wanted to say on that.
My homie Michael Rappaport, he's known as the MVP of talking shit. I look up and aspire to be him when I grow up. You guys might have seen like some of his shorts on like Facebook or Twitter and shit like that. He was reaming Trump and he makes fun of LeBron. But here, let me go screen share. And I lost my button. Where the hell's my button?
Push the button.
It's just there. There it is. Look, there. Press it. Come on. I'll do it. There you go.
I think your mic went back over to the other one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You should have decent volume.
Year-old can get a gun anywhere in this country. I don't care if they're mentally ill, racist or not, or totally sane, is insane. What the fuck does an 18-year-old, what does anybody need an assault rifle for? That's not a hunting weapon. What do people need that for? And these sick animals are worried about abortion rights. Abortion rights when kids are being shot down every single day. Mass shootings, single shootings, every single day in this country. And you're worried about abortions? This shit is ridiculous.
Well said, Mike.
That's something I would love to know the stats on. How many people that are for the abolition of Roe v. Wade that are Second Amendment wankers?
All of
I
them.
would love to know the fucking
100%
stats on
of
that.
them.
Those two circles are the same circle.
It's the same
Yeah.
circle.
Thank
It's
you.
a,
The
hy-
same,
it's a,
they're the
it's like a
same picture.
hyphenate. It's like a hyphenated
Yeah.
last name.
Yeah.
It's the same picture. Yeah.
Office. Oh, that's a
That. So. I think. I think.
I am very sorry for what you are about to see.
Oh Jesus!
No.
Can we?
No.
Are we gonna get Twitch banned?
Oh baby.
Yeah.
Ew. He's drinking Coke Zero. Gross.
Look at him. He's got a proper fat full belly on him as well now. Bless him.
So
Look at him.
Okay.
So let me say this. I come from Connecticut, which had some of the strictest gun laws in the country before Sandy Hook happened. And Sandy Hook still happened.
Where is Connecticut, Precious?
It's in New England. It's right next to New York.
So south, north?
Northern United States. Northeast. The
Northern.
northeastern United States. The last of the New England states before you get to New York.
We're not all from America.
Well, you should be.
You're in fucking Ireland. Wind your neck in.
But I mean, our senators and Congress people have. I mean, there's a video of Chris Murphy out there after this latest school shooting, losing his shit on the steps of on the floor of Congress because this happened.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, I do not like the interpretation of the Second Amendment that the Supreme Court has had since 2008. But with all of the senators and congressmen from basically every other state except for, I would say, some of the New England states in California and Washington and Oregon, what is to be done? What can possibly be done with all the money that goes in?
Repeal the Second Amendment.
Yeah, but
See, you
that
say
requires
stuff like that. All right, Wayne, do you know what it takes to repeal the Second Amendment?
a constitutional
No,
convention.
I want to know what he knows.
Okay. I mean, that's not the whole thing, but
yeah, it means that you have to have, I believe is it 28 senators to vote on it, to agree to it.
No, Tim,
No,
tell
no.
him what it. Tim, tell him what it actually takes to change the Constitution.
Well, then educate me. I'm not.
I will.
Okay, that's
will.
why Wayne. It's a learning moment for everybody because people
will.
throw that around all the time, like just abolish it, just to repeal it. Tim, what would it take for us to remove the Second Amendment?
You would need either 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate to vote on the constitutional amendment, or a constitutional convention where 3/5 of the state have to ratify the amendment, or it has to be overturned by the Supreme Court.
So we're talking about 66 senators and how many? Oh, shit, that's a lot of House people. That's
More than you could possibly get.
yeah. It's
Okay.
something like 180.
If there's
House
400,
people.
there's 435, it would be like almost 300.
Yeah, so 300 House representatives, 66 senators, or what is it? How many states is that shit?
3/5 of the states,
So
35 states.
I don't know where I'm getting the number 28 from.
So
I thought it was-
it is a massive undertaking. So much so that it hasn't really been done in recent times, except for 3 times maybe twice since we've been alive.
When was the last amendment made?
1991.
What was
It
that?
was Congress couldn't vote on their own pay raises. That was basically that amendment. They can only vote on the next Congress's pay raises. That was the 27th Amendment, I believe.
Okay, so the 28th is that's where I'm getting a number from. So the 28th Amendment was getting money out of politics, which is something that TYT were advocating for.
There's a million 28th Amendments.
Everybody
There's-
says that.
There's one for that. There's one for the Equal Rights Amendment, which they tried to get a constitutional convention for, but they only have like 20 states signed on to it so far. They need 15 more.
Right.
Mm.
There's a
So-
whole bunch.
TYT are advocating for Wolfpack, which is getting money out of politics, and that's their 28th Amendment.
Good luck with that, guys.
Yeah, good luck, Jenk.
Yeah, yeah.
Best wishes. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm.
He even shit the bed on his run for state, didn't he?
But that's what I mean. Like it's the largest undertaking. You know what I mean? Like it is incredibly hard to change the Constitution. Incredibly hard, which is the only reason why that Supreme Court decision, was it Keller or Heller?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have this ridiculous fucking masturbatory gun laws that we have now. But it is moving mountains to change the Constitution in this country.
And the other problem is they left it up to the states, which is the worst idea.
Right.
The states are like the crack house of democracy.
Exactly. No, it's plausible deniability. Weren't me?
and we can't even get enough states to pass the Equal Rights Amendment. So the chances that we can get all of the states to say give up your guns, or we're going to change how gun ownership is, how it looks and feels and lives in this country.
Can it not be done under Biden just swiping his pen saying no.
Okay. He can say that federal employees can't hold guns on the job, but that's about it. Like he can't. The executive branch doesn't have any sway over this.
No, but could not executive action just say
no?
Really?
No. He has zero power. Zero.
No. Wow.
It has to come from the legislature or the Supreme Court.
That's mad.
Or the states.
But you can have executive action on all these other different.
Because that's not changing the Constitution.
Yeah.
His powers are through the Constitution, so he can't change what gives him the power in the first place.
His only job regarding the Constitution is enforcing it.
Correct.
Right.
So currently, under the current laws in the current Constitution, he has to defend the Second Amendment. He cannot impose any regulations on it.
That's a madness.
So that's what I was trying to get at, Wayne. So I'm not yelling at you, but people don't.
Mikey.
Lord have mercy! You have to let people finish their sentences.
Shut the fuck up. Yell at me as much as you can, because
I want to just say what I want to say without you yelling over me for once. That's what I want.
Sorry.
That's what I'm looking for.
Sorry. Continue.
It's fine, dude. You throw me off every time with that. So go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, yell at me when I'm wrong, because I need to learn. And when you yell at me, I listen to you, because I bow to your superior knowledge of your experience. So I cannot contradict that. So when I get shit wrong, please tell me I'm wrong, because I want to fucking learn. That's it. End of.
So I'll go back to my original question. Barring a constitutional amendment, what is to be done? What can, because there's hundreds of groups out there trying to stop this. There's parents groups, there's teachers groups, everything, grassroots organizations. They have not made one. They made one progress in Connecticut. The Sandy Hook parents were able to sue the gun manufacturer.
Do you not think there is a patriarchal angle to this, in the sense of men with guns want to keep their guns, and they're telling everyone else that we're going to keep their guns, and they have to be the people in charge? Because that seems to be that's the narrative that I can see.
I'll be honest, there's one big problem with the whole situation, is that the government is basically not allowed to collect data on this. Right. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is not allowed to do research regarding the owning and buying of firearms. They are not allowed.
That's bollocks.
Lobbying. Congress put it in there.
Fucking bollocks.
So we actually...
No.
The answer to your question is unknown.
Sorry, but as I said to you earlier, if you own a firearm over here, the government fucking know about it.
They don't know.
And it has to be in a fucking, has to be in a safe. You have to be DBS checked. You have to be you have to have a clean criminal record. You cannot own a gun if you've got a criminal record over here at all. No, you're done.
They don't even know how many guns people own. They're not sure. They can only guesstimate.
It's just bollocks. Again, I'm trying not to be rude. I'm trying not to be. Yeah. I'm just carry on. Just carry on.
Roll the clip.
Jardin sent me this, so I'll play it.
Now, there wouldn't be any such thing as the Second Amendment,
which says
that a well-regulated militia being necessary for the defense of the state, the people's rights to bear arms. This has been the subject of one of the greatest pieces of fraud, I repeat the word fraud, on the American public by special interest groups that I have ever seen in my lifetime. Now just look at those words. There are only 3 lines to that amendment. A well-regulated militia. If the militia, which was going to be the state army, was going to be well-regulated, why shouldn't 16 and 17 and 18 or any other age persons be regulated in the use of arms, the way an automobile is regulated?
The news of the...
There you go. There you go.
So, but you need to. I need to tell you who Chief Justice Warren Burger is. He was on the Supreme Court, and he's a conservative.
Yep.
But he says the way that it's been rewritten, the way that NRA rewrote the Second Amendment is a fraud.
Interpret.
That's
it's the way the Supreme Court justices interpreted the Keller decision, which gives the NRA all the power that they have now.
Exactly. And here you have and we talked about this a few weeks ago. These people, like conservative Chief Justice Warren Burger, they're not around anymore. Yeah. They have been pushed out by special interest groups now. We don't have anybody like that can say, hey, yes, I am conservative, I believe in the conservative values, but this is bullshit.
We have Brett Kavanaugh. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's fair.
And Amy Coney Barrett.
Like, what else could we possibly need?
If I could shake you right now, I really would.
We got it's beer just chugging.
We've missed so many steps, and because of the way that American politics and even European politics is starting to conform into the American system, it's basically special interest groups. It's who's got the lobbyist groups. It's who's got the most money who writes the rules, right? Yep. I listen to a lot of podcasts because, as you can see, I'm basically in a truck, and I listened to this podcast where there was this. He was a professor in constitutional law, and he says the dystopian that the justices of 50, 60, 70 years ago were afraid was going to happen is basically what we have now. After all of these regulations have been lifted and so on and so forth. But I want to go back to Brenna because, Brenna, you had something on your mind when we all started interrupting you, so I'm sorry.
I think she's muted for the gardeners.
Yeah, I got gardeners coming up. There's so much that I want to say about all this.
Brenna, just empty your brain matter here. This is where this is your vessel.
There's so much to unpack here, and there was Tim asked a very good question about what can be done. Now, we can't prevent unnecessary gun death. We can't prevent it, but there are so many little things that can be done.
Let's allow the dogs. The dogs are the emphasis.
Wayne, take a back seat, Wayne. Take a back seat, man.
I don't care if I have to shout over them, I will shout over them. There's so much that we could actually start doing if we actually had the balls to do it. One of these things that I cannot stand in the slightest, especially here in America, is apathy voters.
Yep.
The people who sit back and say, both sides, they're just the same. Or, oh, it's just too hard. Oh, I don't like them. They don't get me excited. Fuck you. Fuck your apathy. Fucking vote. There are countries out there, well, they require you to vote. Even if your vote is a no vote, you still have to go out and fucking vote. You still have to be a member of this fucking society. You apathy voters, fuck you.
Word.
Fuck you guys. We're pulling out all this weight for you to sit on your ass. There are countries out there that if you don't vote, you get fined. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Because
Let's start making people wake up and do something. Even if your vote is no vote, at least you did something. At least you can say, I didn't vote for somebody. Take that money that people get fined for not voting, and put it towards people who are working their ass off to get other people voting. The poll workers that are sitting there volunteering their time. The people who work at getting people out to vote, to get kids registered by the time they turn 18. Give them the money.
so when it comes, and I'm glad you brought up voting, because when you talk about a constitutional convention, that's a big vote. That's an extra vote. They already don't show our voting numbers are shit anyway.
There are some of the worst in the world.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be a developed nation. We are supposed to be highly educated. We are supposed to have so many good qualities, strong military. We're supposed to be this fantastic country that people look up to, but we can't fucking vote. Fuck your apathy. I have voted in every single election since I was 18 years old. I make sure. If I had to go to the polls, I had to go to the polls. If I had to turn in my ballot into a mailbox, I did that. I did that so that those little kids that were mowed down, so that they could have a life, and you took it away from them because you couldn't get the balls to go out and vote. Fuck the apathy. Fuck apathy. If you are an apathetic voter, if you don't like the way somebody talks, if you continue saying that both sides are exactly the same, fuck you. There is a clear difference between one party and the other on how they deal with death. We couldn't get babies formula because Republicans said no. We couldn't lower gas prices that have been across the nation because Republicans said no. We can't get anything done because of people who believe that both sides are the same. Go out and fucking vote. Vote for Mickey Mouse, for God's sake. I don't care. Fuck your apathy. Because you know what that happens? You know what happens when people don't do their civic duty? That people don't actually go out and do something that is important? People fucking lose. We fucking failed those kids at Sandy Hook and their parents who have to live with that tragedy. We failed. We fucking failed calling Kaepernick, who is telling us people were being murdered. And it's been proven. We failed those kids at Parkland to the point where they had to take action. They weren't even graduated from high school. And they were the ones that had more balls than the adults. They couldn't even vote. We fucking failed them. We failed the Tree of Life Synagogue. Because we allowed that to happen. Because we didn't do anything, that we can't look at actual terrorism. Because it's okay, right? As long as it doesn't affect me. Fuck your apathy.
Well
George
said.
Floyd's anniversary of his death was this week. Somebody who was strangled to death.
Unfortunately, I don't think
Nothing
this.
has changed.
I don't think the system is broken. I think the system is working exactly as the people in charge of it want it to work.
If you, if your, anger at the Taliban for what they're doing, guess what? Not too far off from that.
Remember 9/11. We have to remember 9/11 every day, but then we have to deal with 10 9/11s a weekend in gun
You
violence.
know how you control people, Mikey? You know how you control people? You keep them sick. You keep them stupid. You keep them poor. And you keep them afraid.
And Mikey, you got to remember, get over it.
Oh, I have to get over slavery.
Yeah.
But remember 9/11. Remember,
Yeah.
remember,
No.
remember when the brown people came after us? Remember?
Yeah.
But what about all these school shootings? No, 9/11 terrorists.
One thing that I take
Mikey,
away from
the reason why we have school shootings is because we don't do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, it's probably because you took God out of the school.
You need prayer in school.
Prayer in school.
You gotta have prayer in school.
Did
You
they
gotta
pray?
have prayer in school. You have to have the Pledge of Allegiance every single day, 3-4 times a day.
This just popped in my head real quick.
You can't teach slavery.
No, I need no, Mikey.
Those are the three things you can't do.
Let me get this out. Let me get this out. One thing that Mikey and Cortez taught the fuck out of me was we have Holocaust Memorial Day, but slavery we have to get over. And that contrast really fucking struck a chord with me. Because I was like, these guys are right. We have to remember this, but we have to get over this. And there is an illicit racism within that. And
Wayne, you don't have to get over slavery. In some places, it didn't exist.
There
like
was no
straight
slaves.
up, they just whitewashed the whole thing. It never happened.
Yeah, it was the fact that
we don't even know what you're talking about.
Pointed out to me, like, oh yeah, I'll get over it. It was so many years ago, but Holocaust Memorial Day is a thing. I'm like, what? How did I not notice that? It's so bad. It's so bad that I have to sit there and go, okay, yeah, we're gonna, doff the cap to this particular cruelty, but this other cruelty we're told to get over. What? Why? No. So I think Mikey and Cortez.
I know exactly. I know why. It's because Holocaust was done by Nazis, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were the bad guys. They were bad. Hitler was in charge and he was doing bad things and he was killing bad people. But slavery was a predominantly white person deal.
Yep.
And you can easily go, well, the Nazi, they were a long time ago, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not our fault. We saved the black people from Africa, where they were poor and unhappy, and they weren't civilized. We civilized them and gave them jobs and clothes, and we
And
kept them
religion.
safe. They were heathens.
We gave them
Yeah.
religion.
They could build Dodge Chargers.
They now had skills. They now had we gave them food and shelter and clothed them.
Them
All right,
lucky brown folk.
let's not double
So,
trigger me today. All right.
yeah.
Here
But,
is
yeah.
Beto O'Rourke confronting Texas Governor Abbott after the shooting in Texas. Let me share the screen so you guys can hear
By the way,
it. Lord have
Mikey,
mercy. Lord have mercy, Wayne. Go ahead.
I've got to jump. I'm going to bed.
All right.
It is late here. I've got work in the morning.
Hey, wait, I'm in the same time zone. It's not that late. You stay here.
I have work in the morning, you prick.
It's
You're
only
on
10
holiday.
o'clock. It's only 10 o'clock. Stop crying.
You have holiday. Fuck's sake.
This is totally predictable when you choose not to do it.
Bye, baby.
I'm saying to stop this from happening again. Get out of here. Get out of here. I can't believe you exit. A tragedy happened here. They need to leave. This is not the place to do that. This is on you until you choose to do something different. This will continue to happen. Somebody needs to stand up for the children of this state, or they will continue to be killed, just like they were killed in Uvalde yesterday.
I didn't like him before. I fucking like him now.
This is not the place to talk about the thing that we don't want to talk about, that we don't want to do.
It's literally a press conference for it.
I was waiting. I was waiting for the moment that Ted Cruz, he's like looking around, you see him looking around, and you're like, I just wanted to say, doors! Like, that's...
Yeah, but it's... Okay, so it's not a time to talk politics. So can we talk about Sandy Hook? Because that's like 10 years ago. So can we talk about that?
El Paso, which
okay?
was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, can we talk about that? Can we talk about any of the 300 and, what was it, 89 shootings that you've had, mass shootings that you've had in your country over the last, what was it, 3 years, 2 years?
No, this year.
Yeah, it's basically one a day.
It's 27 this year.
We've gone up to 2 a day. We used to be once every 3 days. Then it was once every other day. Then it was once a day. Now it's more than one per day. This is what we've come to, and that's mass shootings. I sent Mikey a list of school shootings. So anytime a gun at a school was used, since the Thurston, which was right before, but it was about a year before Columbine, and I had to put it in 2 columns and shrink it down to size 11 to get it on just under 3 pages of just list of any time a gun was used at a school, which included Sandy Hook, which included, what was it, Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
The sharpshooter, the sniper, and ending with the recent one in Uvalde. I can't yell and cry and scream anymore. It's just, school is supposed to be the safest place that a person can be.
A kid, for sure.
A school.
Yeah, I think it's like the stairs are like home than school.
Yeah.
But I have a question. I know you touched on this, but is it true that, like, in Texas, somewhere not very far from there, they're going to repeat the most just the most awful moment of American history. And that was, the rally that the NRA had after Columbine, and you had Charlton Heston there with "From My Cold Dead Hands," right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it true that they're gonna do an NRA rally in Texas
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah. Trump's gonna be there.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. What did they require for when Trump was there?
Armed guards.
No
Nobody
one.
can bring guns.
Yeah, they're not allowed to bring guns.
You're not allowed to bring guns to an NRA rally or convention
Why?
with the president. Um,
Why not?
It's a gun-free zone.
What? No, liberals are the
It's the
ones who have
liberals.
been trying to
It's the-
spread those gun-free zones. That's what,
You-
and you know what? I would love for all senators, everybody in Congress, everybody who has a federal job. I want you guys to lose all your Secret Service protection, because if the kids don't get it, neither do you.
One of those mass shootings recently was at a congressional baseball game
Oh, that's
where
right.
several Republican senators did get shot, and one of them quite badly. And one of the ones in
Nothing happened.
Texas, Dallas, Texas, they shot at police officers.
Mikey, can you
Nothing
can you
changed.
put up the website for the Onion, please?
I can do that for you.
The what?
The Onion, it's a satirical news site.
No,
Oh,
it's
So
the
the
best
Onion is
journalism on the
news.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just started to think about food, and I was like, "Wow, that's a quick change of pace."
So the Onion is supposed to be satire. It's supposed to make us laugh or kind of think about things a little bit. Just kind of weird. They decided to change their entire page to each and every time they made an article about a mass shooting, and they have never changed the headline for it, only what was said in the article. So their latest one, no way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens. That's from Uvalde. Indianapolis, no way to prevent this, says the only nation where this regularly happens. Boulder, no way to prevent this, says the only nation where this regularly happens.
And if you look in the hours following a violent rampage in Colorado, and then the other article, in the hours following a violent rampage in Georgia, it's the same. They literally,
Atlanta.
yeah, they write
Oh.
the same article for the same thing.
This is not funny anymore. Like anytime there's a mass shooting, I always go to the Onion to see if they have posted this particular headline again, because it just shows no way to prevent this, says the only nation where this regularly happens. You don't know which article I'm talking about
Could be
when
any
I
of them.
say that. No way to prevent this is the only nation where this regularly happens. You have no idea which one I'm talking about. Is this Las Vegas? I don't know. Is this Pulse nightclub? I don't know. Because it's the same thing over and over again. Now, if we want to talk about mental health, isn't the colloquial that doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity? Like, let's start with that. Let's start actually doing something. So you know what? There are things to do. The first thing is to actually fucking vote. Vote for people who actually want sensible gun laws. Hey, 90% of registered voters want sensible gun laws, which includes a background check, a universal background check. Let's just start with something. Let's do something. I don't
But
care if
isn't
it
that like
solves all our problems. I don't care if it's not going to change mass shootings. It's something. Do fucking something. Do something to help somebody not get access to something that could kill themselves or somebody else?
But isn't
Go ahead.
no? But I lost my train of thought again. I'm sorry. I'm really fucking trying to keep up. because it's so much to touch on here. But I saw this. Somebody posted a clip of, I think it was the Texas AG, that said if you don't abide by murder laws, you won't abide by gun laws, or something to that effect.
Right.
Which is a fucking dangerous thing for
Which
an
is like,
AG,
people are
Attorney
gonna
General,
die.
to say that laws don't matter.
Yeah,
It's a it's a
Come on,
it's a
dude.
logical fallacy.
that's what it is.
Yeah, and
Laws
it's a
don't work,
state
so
AG
don't do laws.
saying it on TV. But I tried getting through the HR 8 bill, which has been passed by Congress but been blocked by the Senate,
Thanks, Mitch
and
McConnell.
Mm-hmm.
it's a very
Fuck your
mild,
apathy. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna just say that. Fuck your
yeah,
apathy.
but it's a very
Just
mild bill. It
some.
basically says that if you buy it in any uh from any store or any, registered, you need to go through a background check. It doesn't close the gun show loophole or buying it from a private citizen.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's just the first tiniest step.
And there's so much.
Registering, like, and we've said this,
Just
you get a
one thing.
driver's license, you register your car so somebody knows who owns that car, right?
Yeah.
And just having, if you go into a gun store, we need to know, you're eligible to own this thing. I,
It's and those
but
and
am I wrong
there's
on the HRA thing? Is
no.
it?
It's a universal background check.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
We
only
don't
for,
have
it doesn't
universal. We
close
don't have a
the loophole.
universal. No.
Yeah, but
It
but
it that's different, and that's another thing too that needs to be worked out as well. But there's also things that need to be worked out as well, um, including um, the boyfriend loophole. We have red flag laws that are we have red flag laws in California that if there is a huge problem, if there's a chance that you're going to be using guns violently, then it would be red flagged, and then you can be investigated. Um, but yes, a universal background check would be great. It's because, like we saw in Texas, there's no requirement for a background check.
Here is Coach Kerr, coach of the Golden
Oh,
State Warriors.
yeah, before we watch this clip, I am so sorry, guys, but I do have to go because I am about to
okay.
fall asleep.
Okay.
I love you guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
All right.
We'll come back to this
See you,
and
man.
stuff later. Yeah. Bye.
Probably. Yeah. Bye.
Well, probably next week.
Everyone's box is
Yep.
about to resize. God damn it. All right. From Coach Kerr. Let me unmute this.
First off, who's Coach Kerr?
Coach for the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
If you guys don't know about Coach Kerr, his dad was actually gunned down.
Yeah.
Which is why this is the response you will get from him.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something?
Yeah. He was visibly shaken, and that was the juxt of what he was saying, because he kind of repeats himself a few times, because he is very worked up because gun violence has visited his home, and he had to go the rest of his life without a dad. with that time cut short.
Yeah.
I mean,
And something something that you also have to understand from the perspective of somebody like a coach or a teacher, they are responsible for the people that they are above. A teacher is responsible for the lives of their students. A coach is responsible for the lives of their athletes, regardless of what age they are or what sport it is or how much they get paid. They are responsible. So when something like a shooting in which children, students, athlete, whoever is gunned down, you feel that.
Yeah.
That's why this is personal to me, and I've said this is personal because when those are students, I've been around those age students for most of my life actually. My mother started teaching kindergarten when I was in 2nd grade. I've been around young kids my entire life. I teach still to this day. I teach high school kids and junior high and adults and everybody. I am responsible for their safety, regardless of what age they are, regardless of anything. They are. I am responsible for them. I know teachers who work with special needs kids. They are responsible for them. I know teachers who work with kids that can barely walk or talk. They are responsible for them. As a coach, you are responsible for your athletes. When Steve Kerr was yelling and banging his hand on that table, saying, "When is enough?" that is because he is responsible for people's well being. And you cannot save people who are getting mauled down by AR-15s. You don't survive that. He is responsible for the people that he looks after. And that stuff is personal because when's the next one? When's the next big news that we're going to see somebody stormed into something else and shot 20 people? 19 children. 10 years or younger. Today was supposed to be their last day of school. They canceled the school year for the rest of the year. Those are students that couldn't see their friends in a happy light. They couldn't hug their teachers goodbye. Thank you for such a wonderful year. I'll see you next year. Some of them were leaving for the next grade up, which is not there at that school in 5th grade. Did you see those pictures of those kids holding up their awards and smiling and dressed up and happy? But this is a problem. This is a problem with the society that we live in and the people that were supposed to protect them. What happened to those police officers? Mikey?
Which police officers?
The police officers that were at the school while the shooter was happening. What were they doing?
They were
Didn't
stopping.
one of them?
They were stopping the parents from going in.
The parents were screaming at them to go do something, and they were like, "No, stay back." Why is
Wasn't
that? Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I was gonna say, wasn't one of the first people shot an officer?
Yeah. I don't know. That could have been the other one. I get them.
Yeah, yeah.
We never know. Again,
I was gonna say, like, you know, I think that we have to approach this the way that conservatives approach it. in the fact that, remember when we talked about the Venn diagram of people who support people who are anti-abortion and people who are pro-gun, same circle.
Yeah.
Well, liberals are very divided on issues, and they aren't single issue voters. This is coming from a political science perspective.
Mhm.
Is that liberals are not united on these sort of things, and this is why they lose elections quite often, is because there is no one big group of liberals that are anti people getting shot, apparently. But if they were to unite on that issue, there are more of them than there are conservatives. And I think that we would have to approach it the same way that liberals have approached like gay rights or something else where there's been a big national movement, but it takes a lot of work and a united front, which is some things that like the Joe Manchins of the world don't have,
Right.
or some other moderate Democrat in a red state who is going to be pro-gun because he has to be.
Let me share the screen so you guys can
You're
hear
you're right in this, and there's that saying, right, that Republicans fall in line while Democrats fall in love, and I think that needs to be remedied.
This from CBS.
Reliving stepping over their classmates' bodies as they tried to flee the school. In one classroom, that word was monkey. And over and over and over through the day, kids would stand up and yell, monkey. And a teacher or a paraprofessional would have to go over to that kid, take them out of the classroom, talk to them about what they had seen, work them through their issues. Sandy Hook will never, ever be the same. This community in Texas will never, ever be the same. Why? Why are we here? If not to try to make sure that fewer schools and fewer communities go through what Sandy Hook has gone through, what Uvalde is going through. Our heart is breaking for these families. Every ounce of love and thoughts and prayers we can send, we are sending. But I'm here on this floor to beg, to literally get down on my hands and knees and beg my colleagues. Find a path forward here. Work with us to find a way to pass laws that make this less likely. I understand my Republican colleagues will not agree to everything that I may support, but there is a common denominator that we can find. There is a place where we can achieve agreement that may not guarantee that America never, ever again sees a mass shooting, that may not overnight cut in half the number of murders that happen in America. It will not solve the problem of American violence by itself, but by doing something, we at least stop sending this quiet message of endorsement to these killers whose brains are breaking, who see the highest levels of government doing nothing, shooting after shooting. What are we doing? Why are we here? What are we doing? I yield the
That
floor.
was Senator Chris Murphy. What state is he from, Tim?
He's from Connecticut. He's one of my senators, and he's absolutely right. Like, for one senator to have to beg Congress, to have to beg the Senate to do something like that, and saying, "Why are we here? What are we doing?"
Right.
I mean, that's Brenna's entire point.
Yeah.
Something has to happen. One little thing can start a chain reaction. Something. I mean, this is an authoritarian way of citizenry, right? Of dealing with its citizenry. Let's make it so that if we don't do anything, other people won't do anything. And then we're just allowed to do whatever we want. We're allowed to take money from these lobbyists. Here's another thing. Let's overturn Citizens United.
There you go.
That's something that we could actually do that will benefit a lot of people, and not just reducing violence. Let's actually have something that we could see and we could talk about, because Texas loosening its gun laws is not helpful. It's not helping those who are pro-gun. It's not helping that these gun laws have been loosened. It's not making things better. It makes me hate you more. I want these these people who give a shit about their guns and about their families and using them for the purposes that they need them for, such as hunting or protection or recreation. I want them to be out in front and saying, we actually need to protect us from the shitheads that are making us look bad. We talk about these things when I talk about my drones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about, like, what about this one kid who did this or flying over the stadium and stuff like that. I go, that makes me look bad. It takes my responsible flying away. I talked about the very irresponsible Red Bull jump that happened in Arizona where a plane crashed. I talked about that. That makes those aircraft pilots, that makes them look bad.
Yeah, they lost their licenses.
It creates more chaos that way. This has got to stop. We have to do something. And you know what? The simplest, easiest, quickest way to do something is to fucking vote. That's the first thing that you can do. The second thing is actually talk to people, to listen to the stories of these people who've lost their loved ones. I'm not just talking about this recent shooting or these last few weeks of recent shootings, but the parents of the Sandy Hook kids actually, just after 10 years of fighting, have gotten some sort of justice. But they had to go through the crisis actor, not really dead, they had to go through all that. And then they finally got something out of the woodwork.
I wonder what Alex... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. It was... They finally got justice from the manufacturers, right? They were able to sue them. That doesn't happen at all in this country, because those manufacturers are protected by the government. Protected because the government gives them the big contracts for the military, and so you might as well just send them out into the to the rest of the world and sell even more.
Do you think Alex Jones is going to have an episode about this? About how it was a bunch of crisis actors, like you said Sandy Hook was?
There's already those conspiracy theories going around. There's a conspiracy theories about the shooter himself.
Yeah.
That he was an illegal immigrant. An illegal alien.
There you go.
Ooh. It was transgender. It was transgender.
Yeah. Just try to lump everybody they can with them so they can...
Like, let's do every ism that we can throw out at people. Racism, sexism, homophobia,
but he's a gun owner, so he's one of them, right? Oh no, but he's brown.
Yeah.
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 So we don't
No,
claim
so
the brown
there's
ones.
probably he was probably on drugs or something, right?
Yep.
That's exactly what they want from you.
Or maybe they should do a toxicology report on the teacher and the kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because usually when somebody guns somebody down, they want to investigate the victims. Right?
Yeah.
Usually when
What
someone
did they do wrong?
Yeah. Why were they dressed like that? That typical shit. But they're not saying anything now. No, they're saying doors, and they're saying arm the teachers.
Arm the teachers.
That's the plan.
And good guys with guns.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but what do the good guys with guns do?
You're supposed to only sell them to good guys.
They're not.
Here's the question: who is a good guy with a gun? Like, what's the determining factor on who is a good guy with a gun? Let's be honest.
Some of them might say cops, and I would strongly disagree.
I agree. Mikey, I've been very I haven't been really into I understand the cops killing young black men. I haven't been very angry about it. Very least I understand it. I'm supportive. But now I can see. Now I see clearly.
Mm-hmm.
There were cops worried about the parents telling them to do their goddamn job, and the cops that were there said it's not my job.
It's not that. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that up.
The Supreme Court said it's not their job.
It is not a cop's job to fucking protect your life. And if you thought that, you're a goddamn fool, and you need to learn
And
better.
now I see the light after this, Mikey. I see the light after this.
Like I said, the system is not broken. The system is working perfectly.
This is why we joke, the joke about the Democrats joke about voting for from dog catcher to president, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't joke about that stuff anymore. Your sheriffs matter.
Yep.
My sheriff in Orange County, he's an asshole. He's a dickhead. But nobody's running against him. So I couldn't actually vote against him. I just didn't vote for him. I left that blank. Because I don't want to be responsible for what kind of shit he does. And this is just Orange County. This isn't even the worst county in the world right now.
We don't have sheriffs here. They're not. Our police chiefs are not elected. They're appointed.
Our judges. We have judges that we vote for.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't vote for judges either. I think the only judge we vote for is probate. Everyone else is nominated and appointed.
Our attorney general is voted, or district attorney is voted for, and I voted. I've actually had somebody I liked to vote against. I never voted for this guy ever, and I finally was like, this is this kind of things. You need to vote. You need to learn who you're voting for. We cannot be told how to do things by memes and TV advertisements.
I don't know. It's a really efficient way for me to get the news while I'm taking a dump is I just scroll through Facebook, and then that gives me all my political opinions for the week.
Yeah.
Or Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter is a cesspool, and it's getting worse.
This was on, since we're talking about stats here.
So
guns are the leading cause of death for children under 18 in America.
It was a few years ago. It actually switched from car crashes.
Wow.
It switched. Car crashes were the leading cause for decades.
And that's the.
But because
why for people?
Why are car crashes now less likely to be a cause of death for children and teens? Why? Because we actually put in safety measures and we actually regulate it, and we keep it so there's safe, and that there is survivability. That's why.
Tim, you're the guest. I'll leave these frozen noobs up here on the screen. close us out, Tim. We're gonna go home.
Yeah.
We're gonna go home.
It's been a long day. I've actually, if you haven't noticed, I've actually been drinking. Like, I don't day drink here.
Me too. I came straight from the pub.
Oh,
Um,
Dick.
fuck you and your
Fuck you
Yeah.
and your
Actually,
Jameson
you know,
pub.
yeah,
go away.
yeah.
Nobody cares.
All right. So for Wayne and for Brent and for Jartan, sleepy Jartan. He's so sleepy.
He's so sleepy. He
So
drove a lot of
sleepy.
miles today.
And for Mikey and me, Tim, that has been the bin.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry.